a good person. But she wants the cameras around so people think that she's a good person. So I figured I don't have a lot of time tonight to hang out like I normally do, but I figured that I would at least come on live and have a little bit of a chat while I get ready for the night. Like I said, I've had a pretty long day. It's really cold. So last night I had to make sure that my little heater was plugged into my van so my pipes didn't freeze, my mobile grooming van. And then today my little heater ended up breaking somehow. I don't know how. So I went and I got a new one, and now I have to go out there later and plug it all up. So I keep my little heater plugged in all night long to prevent the pipes from freezing. There's been a lot of people on TikTok that are pointing out the inconsistencies in Gypsy's book. So it's been fun seeing a lot of other people that I normally wouldn't have known were even talking about Gypsy and pointing out um, pointing out the inconsistencies. And somebody told me, so the video that I posted the other day about the whole New Year's Eve football game situation, somebody posted that in the book it actually says the Bengals and the Chiefs, not the Saints and the Chiefs. So I don't know if she was reading like a rough draft for the audiobook or whatever, but the audiobook says Bengals and Chiefs, and the paperback version of the book says the Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints. So again, that could have been a typo or whatever, but I think it's interesting that the way she wrote it in the book was that it was some sort of a sign that they were playing together at Arrowhead Stadium, and like it was a symbol of something because it was her two hometowns. But in the audiobook, it says the two hometowns that I lived in. Where are the Bengals? Who are the Bengals? Let's find out. Because that wouldn't make sense. Cincinnati. So if you're talking about the two towns that you lived in, why would you say Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs? You didn't live in either one of those places. I mean, yeah, she lived close to Kansas City, but she didn't live in Kansas City. She lived in New Orleans, around New Orleans. So for me, what was that a typo, or did the authors purposely do that? That's why I've been saying that I personally, in my own opinion, I believe that her writers are trying to sabotage her. I think that they know that Gypsy has been doing nothing but lying, and they are trying to sabotage her so that everyone around her knows that she's lying as well. Because it's hard not to catch her in the lies. Like, there's so many. But I did think that it was interesting about the football game. Can anybody else think of why it would have been one team in the audiobook and another team on print? Yeah, I'm sure they had really high hopes for her, but she's a liar. She's so pathological that she just can't be trusted. I'm sure when she got out, Melissa Moore really thought that she was going to be able to kind of transfer her image from poor little abused girl who went to prison for unaliving her own mom, and that she was going to somehow transform her into this overnight, instant social media influencer. And when it started not going her way, and because apparently none of these people does Gypsy listen to. Everybody is advising her. Everyone is advising her, and she's not accepting anyone's advice. She's just doing whatever the hell she wants to do. And her doing whatever the hell she wants to do is the reason why she's getting herself into so much trouble. Like, just shut your mouth. Stop talking, shut your mouth, and listen to what other people are trying to tell you. They're obviously trying to help you in some way salvage this shit show. I knew that when they were talking about her hiring a PR company, I knew that that was all bullshit. I knew they wanted to get information from the PR company to try to figure out how they could spin the narrative to where Gypsy was a social media influencer, star, whatever, and that they would pay them, once or twice max to get the information that they needed to get from them. But once they got the information, they weren't going to have anything to do with it because Gypsy does not listen. Everything that she was doing whenever she started having the PR company, they were telling her, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And she was doing it anyway. Exactly. How do you have such a sheltered life and think that you know everything? And that's what everybody was saying, that when she got to prison, she was so incredibly terrified because it was a completely different life than what she was used to. Somebody like, and I'm not saying this as like a flex or anything, but out of all the shit that I've been through, prison wouldn't have been anything to me because it would have been a safe place for me to sleep. It would have been food over my head, food in my belly, and there would have been some sort of a structure to that sort of life. And for somebody like me who didn't have structure, boundaries, discipline, all of those things, it would have been like boot camp. It would have been like Marine boot camp or whatever. And it probably would have done me some good. Thank you. Because that's something that I needed in my life. I needed structure, stability, rules. And for Gypsy, who was made to, she had everything that she could possibly have in life. Hey, y'all. She had a mom who loved her, a safe place to sleep. Did they get everything that they had the right way? No. But she had a safe place to sleep. She had food in her belly. Her mom was conning and hustling people for money everywhere. She had all of her medical bills paid from. She was constantly doted on with plenty of attention. Like, the girl literally, exactly, she went to Disney for 3 weeks at a time. Each time that she went, she was very sheltered. She was very, what's the word? Spoiled. very spoiled, very sheltered, and prison was like a shock. It was a total change to anything that she had had in her life previously, where she couldn't just cry and, get her way, because that's what she was used to doing in her past, crying to get her way. Yay, Christy, you made the live. Yeah, she acts like everybody owes her. Like she's so entitled to everything without doing any work for it. Hey, Charlie. Oh, yeah. As far as you missed what I was saying about Mia, but I think that the reason why she wasn't at Mia's graduation is because they didn't want her there. I don't think that Mia wanted her there. Um, I think that if Gypsy was supposed to go, that she probably wanted the cameras to come, and Mia was like, "No, this is my event, and I don't want film cameras around at my event," and so she decided not to go. Probably not, because I mean, you have to think the university is a very prestigious place. They don't want criminals on their campus, especially at something as significant as a graduation. Hey, Buffy. Oh, yay. You can see me and you can hear me. Yeah, I didn't come on at 7:30 because I had a busy day, so I was still like getting my things together, eating, and I broke my little heater, so I had to go get another heater. I had an afternoon filled with stuff, so I just came on like 15 minutes ago. Okay, Cambria. I know that Nina had posted something about her not being able to find a job because of her association with Gypsy. That is not fact. I do understand how we are guilty by association with the people that we put ourselves around. Is it possible that her association to her sister is preventing her from getting a job? Yes. Is it possible that her public support of Gypsy is preventing her from getting a job? Yes. This is the Medicube HR-Q Pro or HR Pro. Right. Christy, she doesn't want anybody holding her accountable. She wants to do whatever she wants to do, and she wants people around her that enable her. And sadly, the people that she has in her life right now are enabling her. But if I'm being totally honest, I don't think that that's going to last for very much longer. I think that they are all getting really tired. Hey, Flynn, I think that they are all getting really tired of Gypsy and are ready for the season to end filming, ready for her to get off of parole so that they can all move on with their lives without her in it. Trust and believe that they're not going to continue to have Gypsy in their life. Hey, Patience. I believe Mia is going to have a hard time finding a job as well until she gets married to her husband. Once she gets married to her husband and changes her last name, her odds are going to skyrocket. But she needs to change her last name. I am doing my nightly routine, Flynn, while we just have a discussion. 1 minute past. So, Christy, apparently everyone in her class, her graduating class, got offered jobs to the places that they applied for. Mia applied for a couple of different jobs and didn't get the jobs that she applied to. I don't know if that has anything to do with Gypsy or not. It's just she's not getting the jobs that she's applying to. It could have something to do with Gypsy. It could have something to do with her social media page. Because nowadays, employers look at your social media page to see what kind of person you are. And that could be a reason why she's not getting the jobs that she's applying for. The Metacube is a 4-in-1. I'm still learning about it. Hold on. The orange is the booster mode. And this kind of makes your skin real shiny. Yeah, it's because she's a Blanchard. It kind of makes sense. This one, this setting, no. There is a setting on here that does help with wrinkles, though. It's the red setting, the Dermashot setting. You use each setting for 5 minutes, but you can't use it after you get like Botox and that kind of stuff. You have to wait. It does help with acne scars, and it helps with darkened spots on the skin. I have like sun damage here. Thank you. I have sun damage here, like on my cheekbone, and you can't even see it anymore because I've been using this thing. Like you can't see it at all anymore. So if you get Botox, or if you have any work done, you have to wait 2 weeks before you can use this again. So it's been 2 weeks since I've used it because I got dysport in my eye and my forehead and in between my eyes because I have a really prominent frown line. I do have a link for it. It's called the Metacube, Nicola. I can it's actually, I think it's linked in my showcase on my TikTok page. I think you can go to the showcase and see it there. Oh wow, Christy, that's awesome. The girl that I used to get my Botox with, she did it on herself. She did her own lip filler and everything. It was crazy. I don't see her anymore because she ended up closing her business. So back to Mia. Everyone in her class that graduated basically got the job that they applied for. And Mia has been turned down by all the places that she's applied. So I know, oh, that would be great, Christy. So I know that that's a little bit of a bummer, And like I said, if she ends up marrying her fiance and changes her name, then she won't have that last name affiliated with the Blanchard family anymore. Let me put it in the chat, Christy. Oh yeah, and I went and I got my nails done tonight too. So I had like 2 hours getting my nails done, and then had to go get the little heater. How do I know what? Mia ended up blocking me on Instagram because when I saw that she had posted about um her graduation, I commented, "It's interesting that you've been there to support Gypsy for all her wins and she's not here to support you for yours. I find that interesting. No hate, just curious why she's not there to support you." Mia said that she was having a hard time finding a job. She posted it on her TikTok that she was having a hard time finding a job. No rush, Christy. Take your time. Oh, that's funny. Connie's crusty charred cooter. Yeah, she is sisters with Gypsy. So again, it's the association with the last name. And she also said something in one of her videos. She was like, C's get degrees. So thank you, Flynn. So maybe she just doesn't have great grades, you know? It's possible that she just doesn't have good grades. Yes, you can graduate with C's, but are you going to be able to get a job with C's? Hey, Roma. I found it interesting that she wore a red dress also because the night was about Mia and Mia's cap and gown were red. So, in my opinion, she should have wore a different color because Mia should have been the only one wearing red. That's what I was saying, Keisha. A lot of jobs look at your socials. So take a look at her socials. Thank you, Flynn. Not saying that there's anything bad, but as a prospective job, is this person going to be a liability? Hospitals do not want liability. Oh, really? Banana DW? I didn't know that it was so common.
Session complete.
Okay, so after you do the 5 minutes, you switch to the next mode. You can do all of these modes at least twice a day and 5 minutes per session. Um, that's a good suggestion, Anna. It's possible that Gypsy isn't even really his daughter. How many tickets did your sister get, Roma? I know when my son graduated high school, he was only given 7 tickets. 7, that was it. It does help with fine lines above the lips. I used to smoke as well. Botox in the upper lips is different. Oh, okay. So that would make sense if she only got 4 or 5. I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about the statement that Gypsy made about her daughter. Not her daughter, about her sister Nicolette, and how she claimed that Nicolette's mom came over to her house wanting money to get an abortion. Like, imagine hearing that in a book that your sister wrote about you and your mom wanting to abort you. Imagine what Nicolette must be feeling right now. I'm sure it's not true because we all know that Gypsy, all she does is fucking lie. Yeah, a sister that she's only met once. And I found it really interesting and compelling that when she was talking to Kaylin about this particular meeting, she says, "Oh, well, my dad wanted all three of his girls to have relationships, and he really wanted to have a relationship with all three of his girls," but then goes on to say that the meeting was Mia, Gypsy, and Nicolette, and that her dad wasn't even there. So why did she think she needed to mention that her dad wanted a relationship with all three girls when he didn't even go to the fucking meeting? Right. Banana DW, I would never forgive her for saying something like that. Souley, I think that she fucked up by having her picture taken in front of that mommy dead and dearest. That's what I think the thing is. Mia needs to marry and move across the country. Yep. She needs to get out of that small ass town. Yeah, he gave up custody of Nicolette when she was pretty little, I think, too. Oh, that's what you were referring to? Okay, yeah. Because she took pictures of it. Well, she might like the money, but if you think about it, the money's not going to last for much longer. I give it one more year. One more good year. And then everybody is going to know that Gypsy is a phony. Her whole entire family is a phony. And they're not going to support her anymore. I mean, just see how much support she's lost in a year, less than a year. She hasn't even been out a total year yet. Cora, this is the Metacube. It's on my TikTok showcase. I know Mia can. Gypsy won't say, "Can I have fries with that?" Kathleen, Gypsy doesn't know how to manage money. So while it might seem like she has a good bit of money right now and has netted a good bit of money, people like her do not keep money. It's like winning the lottery for trailer trash. And I hate to say it like that because I lived in a trailer and I'm not trash, but it just the stigma of trailer trash. No, it's not an invasive device. People who win the lottery only keep the lottery for a good 3 years and then they go broke. That's exactly what's going to happen to her, too. Because after the money stops coming in, her family's going to stop having anything to do with her. You just wait and see. Yeah. Gypsy doesn't need to be around anybody's babies yet. She doesn't need to have a baby of her own. I'm just really upset about the whole thing about Nicolette and her saying that her mom came by there asking for money to have an abortion. That shit would have pissed me off if I was Nicolette. Like, I would never speak to her again. So the derma shot is the one that kind of helps tighten up your muscles. So if you have any wrinkles, This is going to help tighten up those lines. You have to hold it in the areas where you have like wrinkles and where you want the muscles to tighten up. So for me, you can see right here, it kind of hangs down. So I would hold mine right here a little bit longer, and then of course right here. And you just hold it for a couple of seconds and then move on. Banana DW, Gypsy knows about the chromosome disorder. Apparently, she knew about it in January. So she knew about it whenever she got out of jail and was starting to think about having a baby and getting pregnant, because apparently whenever she got out of prison, she was already starting to plan to have a baby with Ryan. And Gypsy knew about her chromosome disorder and decided to get pregnant anyway. Yeah, it's weird, her obsession with having a baby. It's weird.
1 minute passed.
And I truly, truly, truly believe that the way that she talks and the way that she says things, I believe that she would hurt somebody. Yeah, Nicolette does have a son. Remember on that podcast with Kaylin, Gypsy made it sound like the reason why she doesn't have that great of a relationship with Nicolette is because Nicolette has a family and lives in a different city. But I can tell you what, if I really cared about my sisters, I'd be on the phone with them every day. Like, if I really wanted to have a relationship with you, like, with my friends, me and my friends sometimes talk every day. Sometimes we don't talk every day, but we talk a lot. And it's the same thing with family. If you want to have a relationship with somebody in your family, you're going to make that effort to have a relationship. So if Nicolette is not making an attempt to have a relationship with her, it doesn't have shit to do with having a kid and living far away. It's because she doesn't want to have anything to do with her. She's just trying to be nice and, yeah, save her family from Gypsy, the serial killer. Because best believe that Gypsy is going to reoffend. It's without a doubt, she is going to reoffend. I don't care if that sounds mean. I don't care if that sounds pessimistic. I don't care. She's going to reoffend. She's a career criminal. She knows nothing but taking advantage of people. She is. There was an article back in the day where Gypsy posted on her Facebook saying that one of her friends was kidnapped and unalived, and I think Gypsy had something to do with it. I think that was her first case of schmurder. Yeah, I'll have to find it. I don't know if you guys are in the GRB Snark Reddit, but they post a lot of information about shit that Gypsy has done, and lots of information. There was an article about an 11-year-old girl back in Springfield whenever Gypsy and her mom were living there, and she got kidnapped and unalived. I'm not saying that it was Gypsy, but I have a suspicious feeling that it was.
4 minutes passed.
Because she's psycho. There was another lady who went on Morbid's panel that said that she assaulted her 8-year-old daughter. Like, Yeah, this girl's fucking crazy. Yes. Banana DW, I believe she had like that toddler bed. I believe that she was acting out fantasies of being a little. And in somewhere I heard that that little means that not like midgets or um if that's even the correct terminology. If there's anybody on here that is a short person, I'm sorry if I didn't say that right. Or if they call them little people or whatever, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about adults who pretend to be childlike. Yes, dwarfs. I'm talking about adults who pretend to be childlike so that they can create some sort of a weird kink fetish for older men online. Gypsy was talking about how she did that in her book. How even though she was like insecure, that when she got online and showed her stuff off to these older men online, that it gave her a high. That's what she said. Yeah, and that's why she was like posing in that shed with the toddler bed and like sucking on a bottle. It was all for show. And I'm sure these older men were paying her. Like, I'm sure they were paying her. I'm sure she was making some sort of money off of it. And she was always looking for ways to make money. I thank you, Flynn. I have a feeling that she was stealing her mom's pain medication, not to take, but to sell. Everything that Gypsy does is because she is obsessed with money. Not only is she obsessed with money, but she's obsessed with like how the outside views her, like people's perception of her. She's obsessed with that as well. And she's also obsessed with looking a certain way. Like, she doesn't feel pretty. And that's the reason why she puts all those filters on. Yep, she's obsessed with men. She's obsessed with feeling admired and adored. And most of the time, she's going to get that fix from old insecure men and old insecure women. Somebody reported me for hate speech. Hate speech. I didn't realize I was hate speeching. Did you see my nails? I wanted an icy blue color. Aren't they pretty? And then I got a snowflake on it. I don't know if they were paying Dee Dee, but they were definitely paying Gypsy. And because she's never really had to pay for anything in her life, that's why she thought that $4,000 was a lot of money. Yes, Banana DW. She wasn't going to doctor's appointments or anything. Like, she hadn't had a doctor's appointment. When her mother was unalive, she hadn't had a doctor's appointment in like 5 years. Oh, thank you. Sorry, you guys. I got to put lotion on my legs. This is long, though. You can see, like, it's long. You can't see nothing. I'm glad you're laughing. I can be pretty funny when I want to be. I'm using this Happy Skin Soap body butter, and it works really good. Like, this is all you need to do one entire leg. Hey, girl. Just checking. Did I say the R word? I don't think I said the R word. I thought I said little people. And yeah, I didn't think I said that. I thought I said little people or littles. She was asking if he was a psychopath because she's a psychopath. Like, she knows she's a psychopath. She should have skipped ahead and just gone straight to OF, but I think she really thought that she was going to be able to make money and make a good bit of money off of being an influencer. I really think that she thought it was going to happen. But thank you, Nicola. Nobody wants to see Gypsy as an influencer. You know, like, nobody wants to see that. Well, her PR team wouldn't help her because she wouldn't listen to her PR team. She has a problem, like, taking advice from people who are trying to hold her accountable. She doesn't want to be held accountable. That's part of the problem. Oh, she definitely thinks that she's a celebrity. She put it in her book. She said convicted killer turned into reality TV star. So she definitely thinks that she's, she thinks she's something for sure. Her content was just boring. I mean, there was just nothing exciting about it. There was nothing exciting about it. You didn't learn anything. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't funny. It wasn't relatable. Like, if you're going to make content, you have to pick something that is going to entertain the viewer watching and make them want to continue coming back to watch you. And there was literally nothing that she was doing that was offering anything of substance. Yeah, the only reason why people are interested is because she's bizarre, she's a liar, and people want to see the train wreck. Everybody who is following her because they want to see the train wreck. They're not really interested in her as a person. They really want to see her fail. So much so that she had 9.9 million people waiting to watch her fail on the world stage. Ooh, what was As Seen on TV? Oh, yeah, As Seen on TV. I think that they didn't want her to go. I think that Mia did not want her to go to her graduation. We were talking about that a little bit ago. I think that the reason why Mia didn't want her to go was because she wanted the evening to be, semi relaxed, not a fucking shit show, because her sister's there and making a mockery of everything, because that's what she does best. makes a show out of everything. Nina used to be really reliable with her information, but it's gotten a little sketcy here lately. But I think that some of that is because the Blanchard family is giving her, or whoever her source is giving her bad information on purpose to discredit her, if that makes sense. Because instead of going out and actually checking to verify if her information is correct, she just put it out, like that video about them breaking up that got 8 million views or whatever it was. I think that was done strategically to kind of take the attention off of what was going on with Ivory Rose Grows Wild, because that kind of happened at the same time. I still need to send Nick an email. I probably will do that later tomorrow. I don't. I think Ken and her have broken up. I think that if they are still together, it's for obligatory reasons, not because he wants to be with her. I think it's for obligation. But I do think that they aren't together anymore. Yeah, I would be, like I said, I would be interested to talk to Ken's mother. And I actually sent her a request on Facebook and on Instagram to see if she would communicate with me, because I would love to ask her some questions about, all the shit that's going on, to find out what's true, what's not true, all of that. Nick is eventually going to tell his story. I think he's waiting until he knows for sure that he has no hope of ever getting out. Like he's not been able to really talk a lot because he's been waiting for his appeals or whatever. But I think once he knows that his appeals are all done and he's not going to be able to get another appeal or whatever, then he's going to be ready to talk. And at that point, Gypsy needs to be scared. I heard something today and it said, how did it go? It said something along the lines of, people talk bad about you because they are afraid of what you will say about them, or something along those lines. And it really resonated with the whole Gypsy talking bad about Ryan and talking bad about Nicholas, because they have information on her and she does not want them to come out and say anything. So she basically is speaking poorly about them to try to keep them silent. It's a covert control tactic. Oh, I don't know about that. Ken's mom seems like she's a nice person, and she also seems to understand. Good night, Flynn. I'll see you later. I hope the babies are good. She also seems to have a pretty well-adjusted head on her shoulder. Like, she's not completely ignorant and dumbfounded by the shit that Gypsy does and says. It seems like she's able to think and speak for herself. Unlike some of the other people that Gypsy keeps around her, everybody just enables Gypsy. But it sounds to me like when Reno was on Sir Morbid, like she has a pretty good head on her shoulders and is able to think logically about the situation. That's what they do. That's what they do. Well, you go cuddle up next to him and y'all have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes. The baby is a manipulation tactic. It's not like she doesn't view the child as having any sort of emotions or she doesn't view the baby as a human. Everything that Gypsy does or has in her life is always as a tool. It is a tool to use and discard when you're done. She doesn't treat people like human beings because they're not to her. They're there to serve a purpose, and once they're done serving their purpose, she's done with them. Issa, I can imagine nobody wants her in their town. Yeah, that's the narcissist way. Yes, Sule, exactly. She did let it be known that she did not trust Gypsy. It was very subtle though. It was very subtle. So she didn't come out and actually say, "I don't trust her. I don't believe anything she says." It wasn't like that. But if you can read between the lines of what it was that she was saying, then yeah, you know that. Thank you. Thank you. If you can read between the lines, you know that she was saying that she doesn't trust her. She's keeping a watch on her. And I've said this several times, and I will say it until I am blue in the face. You can pretend to be anybody for an hour over the phone or even in a visiting room. You can pretend to be anybody. You do not know somebody until you have spent actual time with that person. Like you have talked about money, you've talked about children, you've talked about differences. You've actually had discussions, you've talked about travel, you've talked about religion. You don't know somebody until you have gone over all those things. Thank you, Rachel. That was so sweet. And for her and Ken, 90% of all of that was infatuation and like sexual tension. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Thank you for the gifts. It was all sexual tension. You know what I mean? It wasn't really like they had an actual attraction to one another. He might have had, you know, been in a relationship with that girl that he was in a relationship with for a while, and maybe they weren't doing so good, so they weren't necessarily having, they weren't bumping uglies under the sheets. And maybe he thought that this would have been a good way for him to get a little something, especially from someone who doesn't have any teeth. I hear those are the best. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just saying, I've heard that women who don't have teeth give really good blowjobs. I don't know if it's true, but maybe he wanted to try it out. I hope you have a good holiday too, Rachel. I'll be back on tomorrow. We're going to start reading the book at the beginning of the new year, or maybe after Christmas, maybe the 27th. I'm going to start reading that book about daughters of narcissistic mothers. Yeah, it was all fantasy. And she knows how to turn on the charm. Yes, the gummers. You know what I'm saying. She knows how to turn on the charm, and like with people who are manipulators, they know how to manipulate you into thinking that you are a that they are a better person than they actually are. Like, she knows how to sell herself to the other person. Clearly, she got Ryan to marry her in jail, so she knew how to sell herself to him. She knows how to sell herself to other people in order to get what it is that she wants. You saw how quickly her and Ryan lasted after she got out of prison. Why? Because they were butting heads. He wasn't falling in line to everything that she wanted him to do. He was, I don't want to say he was being combative, but he wasn't, being a pushover. Danielle, if you want, you can go to my YouTube and watch me read the book live. I've got it broken. Hey, Christy, I've got it broken up into sections. So you can just go and watch and listen to the book live, so you don't have to buy it yourself. And I can also send you the PDF if you email me your email address, or if you DM me your email address, I can email you the PDF. Merry Christmas, Issa. Am I saying that right? Actions speak a lot louder than words, but you have to watch that person's actions. Because sometimes manipulators, even when you're watching the replay, Charlie, Roma, I think I can text it to you. I'll try, and then if I can't, you can send me your email. Yes, they mirror you to make you feel like you are soulmates with them. And even though actions do speak louder than words, even though they do, sometimes they will manipulate you into believing that their actions are because of you. Not because their actions are their actions, but their actions are their actions because you made them have that action. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not real clear on how narcissistic manipulation works, you will be gaslight into believing that their actions are your fault. It's the way that the manipulation with narcissism works. Sule, I can definitely believe that. She said that a lot of the books are being returned because people are saying that it's soft, CORN. Yeah, I'm loving how all of the creators are bringing in the contradictions and the facts side by side. We need so many people to see it. Yeah, and it's weird. Right, Buffy. You know what I'm saying. I cheated because you wouldn't give me what I wanted. So they always make whatever they do, they always make it your fault somehow, some way. So like Ken, if he's not real familiar with how abuse and manipulation works, of course he's going to be gaslit into believing that what's happening is actually his fault. Oh, I believe it. Everybody is doing a really good job with the contradictions. Give me 1 second. I'm coming right back. There's so many people. I was telling Roma the other day when she and I were talking, there's so many people calling out the contradictions that like I don't even need to, because there's people already doing it. Yeah, a bee went by my head and it's your fault because you smelled good, you know? There's a lot more people talking about it now than there was a few months ago. I think a lot of people came out and really wanted to give Gypsy the benefit of the doubt. But as time has gone on, her actions have shown everyone that she is not worthy of the platform that she has, the trust that they have all given her, and that we need to be skeptical of everything that comes out of her mouth. Yeah, send it to her. Did anybody save the PO box address before she deleted it? We'll send her one in the mail. She's played her cards. She's an idiot. I'm sure it's in the Reddit group if y'all aren't in the Reddit. Everything is in that Reddit. I promise. Everything. I thought about burning it, but then I'm like, I'm going to try. Hey, Candace. I haven't seen you in so long. I hope you're doing well. What was I going to say? Oh my God. Exactly. No one wants to fact check Gypsy. Hell, Gypsy can't even fact check Gypsy. She literally did the audiobook and didn't catch any of the lies that she wrote herself. That tells you that even though she listened and she did the audiobook, that she wasn't really paying attention to what it was that she was reading. Because if she was paying attention to what she was reading, she would have known that there were an asinine amount of contradictions. Hell, from page 1 to page 3, there's a contradiction. I think I'm going to try to send mine back to Thrift Books where I bought it. Especially because there's contradictions every few pages. That's what's so wild. It's like if you were really paying attention to what it was that you were reading and writing, then you would know that it doesn't make sense. So, you guys weren't here, but in the beginning of the live, I talked about how in the book it says that the New Year's Eve game was between the New Orleans Saints and the Kansas City Chiefs. But in the audiobook, she says it was between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs, and how her two hometowns were playing against each other. So even from the audiobook to the standard book, there's contradictions in what was printed and what was said. Oh, she absolutely believes her lies. Absolutely. You know how there are people who have dead eyes? Like dead. Like you look at them and there's no glare or anything in their eyes. It's just like eyeball. That's what she reminds me of. Yeah, nobody bothered to proofread and fact check her own book from page to page. But I personally believe that, thank you, Aqua Bubbles. I personally believe that her writers know that it's all bullshit. And they're just waiting to see how long they can continue to make money off of her. They know. They're not stupid. They wrote that first book and then wrote this second book. And 90% of what was in that first book, exactly, drama pays. 90% of what was in that first book is different than what was in that second book. So they know, they're not stupid. But I also believe that they know that on the other side of this fallout is going to be even more money than what they've made so far. Because people love to watch a train wreck. They love to watch somebody fall from the heights of their so-called career. So I can promise you that there's more on the other side than there is on this side of tearing her down. There's going to be way more money on the other side because people are going to want to hear that more than they want to hear this bullshit. So if you think that her book sold a lot of money, you just wait until one of these publications points out some of the contradictions. Everybody is going to be lining up to purchase that. Everyone is going to want to see that this publication has finally called her on her ass. I don't even know why she would have. Yeah, I don't even know why she would have mentioned the Cincinnati Bengals. That is who played, but the way that she worded it in the book was that it was her two hometowns. Somebody is. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. Rebecca, I've gone up and down with grooming, loving it, hating it, wanting to get out. That happens to me at least once a year. How long have you been grooming? Literally once a year, if not more. Right now, I'm in a state of I'm loving it. But just 3 months ago, I was depressed in the bed and didn't want to get up and do anything. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So the thing that you need to ask yourself, Rebecca, is if you did not have to do it for money, if you didn't have to do this to earn a living, would you still want to? Would you still want to do it if you had all the money in the world and you didn't need to earn a living? Because that's why you're doing it right now, because it pays the bills, right? But if you didn't need that money to pay bills, would you still want to cut dog hair? And at the end of the day, even if I had all the money in the world, I would still want to because I like doing it. So that's what you need to ask yourself. I think that the voodoo spell that she was talking about in the book with Dan, I think that that was a spell that she actually did. I don't think that it was something that her mom did. I think it was what she did. So, Rebecca, if you're finding yourself not wanting to work on certain clients, and if those are the days that you find you're having like hard days, just get rid of those clients. I mean, in the nicest way possible, just let them go. Like, you're going to be happier if you find a client that you love to replace them. You got to show me your nails. I'll text you in a minute, okay? Right, Tennille. She jumps from one situation to the other. So that's what I was talking about. On page, I can't remember on exactly what page it was, but in the book, she says that Dan was the first person that she told that she could ever walk. And then 10 pages later, she claims that Nick was the only person who knew she ever walked. So it's hard to really trust anything that she says because she can't even keep up with her own lies. Oh, I believe she definitely dabbles in the occult. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, people who do magic and spell work, I'm sure there's a lot of witches out there that do good magic and good spell work, but you could tell that the type of person that she is, she's not doing it for good. She's doing it because she wants to use magic to try to control and manipulate people. And yes, you can use magic for good to manipulate and control people, but I don't think that that's her purpose. I think that Gypsy knows that when she's talking that it's lies. I think that she is so confident in her lies that she believes everyone around her is just going to believe her. They're not going to question. They're just going to believe. I don't want to speculate on what's going on with Ryan. Um, I do not think that he would have the audacity to get back with Gypsy, but who knows? I don't know what blood magic is and how it's used, but I have a feeling that that's what she was doing with Dan. That whole cow's tongue or whatever was something that she wanted. Alexa off. Yes, exactly. A pathological liar thinks that what they're saying is truth because it's how it is in their mind. Like they've justified it to themselves in their mind. So whenever it comes out of their mouth, they believe it's true. Fancy said that she's talked with Dan recently and she's planning on like interviewing him again because he has some information for her. Like she's got questions and stuff for him, but she said that she's interviewed him recently and all that. Yeah, I believe that too. They don't recall stories the way we do. I gotta get off the phone here in like 5 minutes because I need to go plug in the heater in my van so it doesn't freeze overnight. Last night it got like 28 degrees, and right now it's 31. So I know. I asked her if well, I didn't ask her if, she could give me the information because obviously that would just be rude, but I asked her if when she did talk to him, would she communicate with me about what they conversed about. Where are you at, Banana? It's 30 degrees where I am, and that's pretty chilly. Oh, I know Gypsy is jealous of Mia. Like, I know she is. I know she is. She's mentioned it multiple times in the documentaries. I think that she mentioned it in Mommy, Dead, and Dearest. She definitely mentioned it in Gypsy's Revenge. Literally every documentary that she's done, she's mentioned it. I think she's jealous of anyone who is healthier and prettier than she is. Right, Susie. She's mentioned it in all of them. So it's 20 degrees by you. Oh my God, it's cold there. 30 degrees is cold. My little heater broke, so I had to go get another one. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it fell too many times. I don't know. You're in Northern California? I don't know why I felt like California was always hot. New Jersey. No, thank you. Yeah. I think that Gypsy has a weird, um, ooh, hold on. Somebody sent me, one of my viewers sent me an email and she said that it is called, hold on, emotional incest. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it is sexual. It just means that you are looking at that person as like a partner and not a parent. And I believe that that's how Gypsy views her dad. And I think that that's the reason why she was so desperate for wanting Ken to take her back and be with her, because Ken looks almost exactly like her dad. It's weird. I don't think that her and Ken are still together, no. I think that it's obligatory. I think that he's with her out of obligation. I think that he's with her out of financial obligation as well as contractual obligation, but I don't think that they're actually like together. Yes, and Ryan looks like her mom. It's weird. Hey, Lexi. Right? It's weird. Like if you put pictures of them up together, they look exactly alike, very similar. And that's what is defined as emotional incest. Not necessarily that they are like sexually attracted to them, but that they would like to view them as a, you get it. It's hard for me to explain because I only found out about this term today, so I haven't learned a whole lot about it. But once I found out about it, I was like, yes, that's exactly what's going on. Yes, craft crazy. That's exactly what she's trying to do. I don't think that she's getting on her TikTok because she is being told not to. I think she's being told not to get on. I think she's being told to stay off, mainly because if she's giving out all the information about what's going on in her life on her social media, nobody's going to want to watch the Lifetime show. So Lifetime has probably told her like, hey, we need you to step back from posting everything on social media because otherwise nobody's going to have anything to view, to look at. You know what I mean? And of course, they want views. So in order to get the views, she has to remove views from her TikTok page. But simultaneously posting through Ken's page and like his stories and all of those and all of that bullshit. Oh, I'm sure she guilts her dad. 100% she is guilting him. I don't think that the baby is healthy. I don't. If she is still pregnant, she's really, really small. And I think that that's probably an indication that there's something wrong. I've never looked at her reposts. Never once even thought about it. What kind of stuff does she repost? Oh, her family is definitely using her for money, for fame, for clout. Like, they're definitely using her. I think it's not really fame, it's more along the lines of attention. And not all attention is good attention, by the way. But they don't seem to care. For whatever reason, they just care about having attention. I think I think Christy is narcissistic in the same way that Gypsy is. So they both feed off of each other in this weird narcissistic bullshit relationship that they have. Ashes, you're gonna have to tell me what's on her repost. But they're both very narcissistic. And I think Rod is an empath, which is the reason why he's able to be kind of walked over all the time. She has me blocked on TikTok, so I haven't been able to see anything in a while. It's been, I want to say, 2 months. Buffy, I know it sounds bad, but I also agree. So Buffy wrote that she said, this is going to sound awful, but I think secretly Gypsy wants something negative to happen to the baby when the baby is born, so she's not stuck with the baby. And I absolutely agree with this. I would not be surprised if she pulled a Casey Anthony. I also wouldn't be surprised. What was that young girl's name who went to the hospital, gave birth in the bathroom, and then like flushed the baby's remains? Yeah, that girl. Nina blocked me. Alexi Trevino. Yes, you know who I'm talking about. So Nina blocked. I don't know why Nina blocked me. Nina blocked me when all that bullshit was going on with Sir Morbid. She blocked me, and Gypsy's had me blocked for a couple of months. So I think either one of those two things are going to happen. If she is able to keep the baby and actually be a parent, it'll end up a whole nother Casey Anthony situation. And if she decides that she doesn't necessarily want to be a mom once that baby comes, it'll end up being like Alexi Trevisi. Yeah, you're right about that, Lexi. Wanting to get attention from that too. She loves all the attention, so she doesn't really care how it comes. But I don't think that she will like the baby having more attention than her. You know what I mean? It could be why she's not eating. Maybe she's hoping that not eating will somehow cause residual effects. I don't know. Thank you, Janicide. All right, you guys, I need to get going because I got to go plug this little heater up before it gets too cold and my pipes freeze. I'll see y'all tomorrow. If you don't find me at 7:30, check back like every 15 minutes or whatever, because I didn't get on tonight until like almost 8:30 because I had a lot going on. Night.
Good happens in the world. I feel fully deserving of every cent and million that finds its way to me. My financial path is paved in